the footy because it's 12:30.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I
That's,
completely forgot about that,
let's
to be
not
fair.
talk about football. The
I
football's
know, I know, I know. Well, we have, haven't we? In our session, we just did. We just did. We won't go down that. We won't don't go down that rabbit hole. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for watching Mindful Men's Club. If it's your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. So we've just come out of our session with the men, and the topic was reflections and realizations, and it's something that we do as a segue every 4 topics, right? So every 4 topics that we talk about, we kind of have a break and we do reflections and realizations. So it was fair to say it was a really relaxed one in a good way, quite chilled out, and we talked about all sorts, right? And it was nice to hear some realizations and reflections, from the men. And as men, I don't know, the men in our community, it's quite straightforward to talk about it, but men in general have this stigma or stereotype of not being deep thinkers, right? Or not being vocal with their feelings or whatever. I think that's a bit of a generalization, I think, right? All the men that we know is completely opposite. So I guess it's subjective to who you know and who you hang around with, and your experience. I think it was really, really great to just listen to some of the reflections. I think a big thing, it was quite a lot, but I think just something I was going to share. I think the big thing that came about is that, and I made a bit of a note here, is that surround yourself with energies that elevate your soul. So I thought that was a nice takeaway, and that was reference to one of the men sharing that the circle of friends that you have will dictate good or bad depending on the trajectory of life where you're going. So, for example, obviously, if you're hanging around with friends and all you're doing is drugs or alcohol or whatever, I'm not saying that's a bad or good thing. I'm saying that's a personal choice, whatever you guys do. But we all know that too much of something is not good, right, for anyone. And I think, drowning your sorrows with people who are drowning your sorrows, it's like, well, who's going to lift you up, right, kind of thing. So I think that was a strong vibe that came out, and I think a lot of men can probably relate to that, or a lot of women can probably relate to that as well. So and yeah, and we had some amazing contributions towards the end, right, about how the men gave us some suggestions on how to actually continue to grow our reach, right? So that was quite interesting, and we've got some really interesting ideas and kind of watch this space. And we're already planning a few things anyway, new things that we weren't doing in 2020. And we haven't started doing in 2021 yet, so which we're about to do. We'll probably announce it on the Facebook page. But yeah,
exciting, man. Like I
it is
feel
exciting. It is
we
exciting.
what I love about the reflections and realizations meetings that we do, I like that we just do them periodically. Like every third or fourth meeting, we just have that check in and we just press pause. I think it's really, really important to just to to give ourselves that space, because I suppose whether we're in lockdown or whether it was before, life was just so fast. Life always will find a reason to make it fast. There's always so much going on, even when there's little, and just that reset, just to press pause and see, look, where are we at? How far have we come, and what do we want to do next? And whilst we've covered some amazing topics, I think what was amazing about today was that we just literally opened it up, and we covered a range of different things, from like relationships to sport to social media to spirituality and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's vital that we all have an outlet to just reflect, whether in our context, obviously the private Zoom was for men, and here for everyone watching, this is for everyone. But just being able to just say what's on our mind and realize sometimes things aren't as bad as we think they are, or sometimes if we're getting a little bit overhyped, well, actually, do you know what? I actually want to come in a little bit here instead. And it just allows the access to just kind of refocus and hone in on, okay, actually, here's the piece that's really, really important for me right here, right now. Let me concentrate on this, get through, and then see where we get to thereafter. And
Yeah.
and just kind of from that, like we were kind of talking about, where we're going with this platform and social media and podcast and YouTube and website and LinkedIn. And it was great, again, like between like the four of us that are doing the meeting, we still have a very limited view on how we can see things, and for the lads to give us some awesome suggestions that wouldn't have come from us because we're probably too close to it, just allowed us to kind of take that step back and look at it and think, yeah, actually, you know, we could do this, or this, the next step is in this direction, and we've got some cool things ready and waiting in the pipeline too.
Yeah, definitely. I think another reflection was that, and you know, some of the guys mentioned that, well, now as we start to return to whatever you want to call as normal, things are opening up, are you guys going to still keep doing what you're doing? And we said we have no intention of stopping. We'll carry on as much as we can carry on, but I think the fact that the men who join us, you know, you've got Malaysia, I think, what was it, Germany, at times, Spain, whatever, France, all parts of London. So I think we'll definitely continue with the lives, and we're planning when we can, which is really exciting, a Mindful Men's Club socially approved gathering, right, where the rules are when we plan it, Brevard. So we're super looking forward to doing something where it's completely mindful related, but chilled out, probably somewhere in the park or somewhere. And yeah, we're super looking forward to doing that. So I think it was another takeaway that came out from the men is that take time to fill your own cup. We keep hearing it so many times. Like, you have to literally, just for your own sanity and for those around you, just to kind of re-energize your own soul, right? Like, wherever that is, whether it's a good podcast or a documentary, a good book. We talked about meditation quite a lot today, actually.
Yeah.
And different forms of meditation, right? Like, you know, you can do walking meditation, you can do chanting meditation, you can meditate in your sleep, you can meditate listening to music, like you can meditate on your breath. It's kind of just raising your awareness. But I think another thing that came out is that don't make meditation this thing that you have to grab and off the shelf when you need it. It should be ingrained in you, and if you're going to do it, and if you're going to see the benefits from it, and I think those who do meditate for a lot longer than I have anyway, know that once it's a part of you, it's like brushing your teeth. You just don't think about it. You draw on from that, right? It's like that. It's like a tool set that you have that you can use when you need to, right? When you're overcoming a challenge, and it doesn't have to be overcoming a challenge. It could be a gratitude meditation, so what you've already received, and I think that's probably the most powerful one. We talked about the saying thank you.
It's switching from that fear-based survival default mind that we've just become accustomed and conditioned to just a little tweak, a little frequency. Like one of the lads shared how, and I can totally relate to this. This is something I used to do as well. Is when you'd only pray, meditate, go to the temple or place of worship when you want something, versus just going to say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And also, yes, you can also do that at home, but just sometimes that making the effort to go to a place that has that high vibe, frequency, energy, being in there and putting that intention out into the universe of I'm so thankful for what I have, versus I really need something, here's some change, and put it in the box and hope for the best.
It's a complete shift of consciousness, right? When you go from prayer to ask for something. There's nothing wrong with it, but I think we've been socially conditioned, right, from parents and generation, like you say a prayer and you ask for something and it's blessed, and there's nothing wrong with it. But I think when you shift from that to being grateful for what you already have, the elevation in energy, in your own energy, in your own vibration, you start glowing, and then you start attracting the same frequency in others around you, right?
Because gratitude reciprocates. And it's not just blindly saying I'm thankful for everything that I have, but actually genuinely feeling it and releasing that grateful energy out into the universe, because that's the magnet for more of it to come back to you.
Definitely. I think what's been your, have you got a takeaway, like a reflection, a realization, like what's been something that you can share?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, and from reflecting on, say, the last few weeks particularly, it's just been giving myself a bit of grace. Like, I'm very invested in everything that I'm doing from an energy, commitment, time perspective, because I genuinely love what I do. And what I'm noticing is that I'm just not giving a part of that back to me, whether that's through sleep or eating well. Like, it's basic stuff, but going back to, okay, but am I filling my cup? Because there's no point in doing all this service if it's not coming back to you, if I'm not able to give it back to myself as well. And there was a really great conversation I was part of a few weeks ago where it talked about how you need sadhana with seva. So you need your own personal practice so that what you give out isn't tainted.
Mm.
So you can be totally service driven, but as you say, if your cup's empty or if you're running on cheap fuel, that's gonna spill into what you do. So it's almost like, what is it that I can mindfully do for myself such that it doesn't actually compromise all the other stuff that I'm doing? So it's almost about how can I elevate what I'm doing by giving myself a little bit more.
It's so powerful, isn't it? It's like I was talking to a monk last Sunday, believe it or not, on the very same subject about, and this is a monk who's completely ingrained in service, etc. And we just got talking about how he hasn't had time to fill his own cup and re-energize and it was really interesting conversation, and it's so powerful, and it reminds you that it doesn't matter who you are in life. It's like we all we as humans, we all need to, we get burned out, right, at some stage. Like if you don't go for, like, everyone knows my things walks, right? So if I don't go for my walks, I'm not the same person, if that makes sense, right? So you have to re-energize yourself, and I think, and wherever you do that in, whether it's a book, whether it's journaling, whether it's writing poetry, art, speaking, gym, football, whatever it is, right? I think if you don't take time out for yourself, it can be quite dangerous as well, can't it, Viraj? Like it can spill over onto other areas, and a week can go into a month, and then it's almost like a snowball effect.
Yeah, and often that's the key ingredient in any which way. When we look at how, when we put in so much time, energy, and effort into something and we don't get the result that we want, we often go into the mindset of, okay, what did I do wrong? And when you look at it in another sense of, like, what we just look at what was missing, like what was missing from your end. At a high level, you can call it integrity, but what is the personal integrity that you skipped on for yourself that will have an impact into what you put out? And this is where the paradox is that times where we're living in a world that in some ways can occur as really selfish, but yet a lot of us are so selfless that we will go to war for people that we care about, but then we don't armor ourselves appropriately.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thought to I guess simmer on, because we don't, yeah, we tend to sort of give so much, but we don't tend to protect our own energy, right? And I think that's where we're kind of aligning on this conversation. And I think, you can be everything to everyone, but I think it's important to be everything to someone, with integrity and intention, one at a time, as opposed to trying to do everything, because you end up depleting yourself, right? And then physically it's not good, emotionally it's not good, spiritually it's not good. So I think everybody needs a recharge, and I think finding that healthy form of recharge, and wherever that is, that you need to fill that void in, is quite powerful. And I think it's a necessity, to be fair.
Yeah. How about yourself, in terms of what is it? What have you been reflecting on, or what's come to your awareness over the last few weeks?
Oh, I think something that I've been reflecting on quite recently is going deeper into, I would say, going deeper into connecting with nature, like even more, like deeper than I have been going. And I think just appreciating everything that's around us. So I went for like a really long walk think hour and a half walk, purposely didn't, you know, have any earphones on, etc., and just listening to the birds, just chilling, just relaxing, just being in that free space, that freedom of mind, of smiling at random strangers, right? And just walking and seeing people, you know, walking their dogs. So I think for me, the biggest realization is, but in that space, being even more grateful for what you have, like even more, like going deeper in and saying, do you know what? I mean, I do gratitude meditation every morning anyway. So I think for me, that's the biggest realization. It's like, how can you help somebody else? And how can you do less, a little bit less with whatever you have? And I'm not talking necessarily money, could be anything. And then how can you use that to help somebody else who doesn't have it? So if you've got 98% of the pie, whatever that pie is in your mind, and somebody's only got not even 1%, well, how can you kind of share that? And whether that's a shared consciousness feeling, helping cross, you know, someone cross the road or whatever, or donation, charity, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really make a difference, to be fair. It's just the intention behind it. So I think, yeah, that's probably mine. Oops.
My audio just cut out. It almost sounds too simple, but in the simplicity is the power of it. That you
Yeah,
could,
like you know, most things don't need to be the most profound. Things are the most simplest, right? Realization, sometimes it just hits you when it hits you. It's just one of those things. But until you come out of your own cocoon, you don't realize that. And by cocoon, I mean not going outside, or not going for some fresh air, or not trying something new, or not meeting new people, or conversing, or whatever. Like, you have to, we're all trapped in our cocoon. And I think if we come out of our cocoon just once, and it's almost like put your head above the waters and see what's out there on the shores, you'll be absolutely pleasantly surprised.
yeah, 100%. And for everyone watching us live, like, do share what you're getting from this conversation, or anything that's come to your mind in terms of a reflection or a realization. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It's sometimes we can get so limited in our viewpoint that we only see a certain amount. And you're right, just that little peek to see, okay, what else is there? And then you get more of the horizon to now start to move and gravitate towards, or just again put more stuff out there. Yeah.
Like just a quick share. So you know, when I go for a walk today on purpose, I thought, what if I just got off the beaten track? And because I went off the beaten track, and I mean really off the beaten track, right? I was like, should I be walking down this way? And then I'm like, I just saw the most beautiful scene of animals, and then I had the most interesting conversation with a couple, like random, well, not random because there's nothing random in life, but very quite synchronous. So sometimes you have to go off the beaten track just to experience something new. But yeah, I just wanted to share that.
You never know what you'll find.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm really excited about is, again, just based on this conversation we had, like where some of the lads are in terms of like how just kind of having this space for every couple of weeks now has just kind of moved things forward. And it's great that we've got regulars and also new people coming in, yeah, again, at their own time, at their own pace. But it feels like we've laid a lot of the groundwork, and I suppose the conversation, again, no coincidence, is this kind of went into what's next, and what can we do as well. So again, guys, if for everyone listening, please feel free to drop your suggestions in the chat of where you would like to see more from us, and where and how, because we're really keen to kind of open this up to as many people as possible. And as Manoj is saying, is that our commitment is set for this. Like, we're putting everything in, we're not expecting anything in return, but we just want to find ways that we can continue to serve and put this message out. And on that note, our next live event in a couple of weeks' time is we're talking about domestic abuse and the connotations and impact that has from both sides, from both agendas. We've seen obviously something in the news lately with what's been going on with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and it's been interesting what a lot of the commentary has been on social media on how it's been portrayed, but then also what is it that we can do as society or as men to spot the signs where, you know, where we may see certain people being at the effect, calling things out, because it's not okay. But I think it'll be a fascinating conversation in terms of the way we're going to look at it and open the conversation up. And I think it's something that actually isn't, you talk about a taboo subject. I don't hear much about this in any kind of conversation, really.
Yeah, I think all of our conversations end up being so deep, right? But they're not our topics. And you guys out there, you're the ones who come up with these topics, right? So in the beginning, you know, we used to draft these topics, but to get the momentum going. But right now, they're not our topics; they're your topics. So somebody out there has gone through something that has triggered, you know, whatever it's triggered to then say, hey guys, can you talk about this? And that's what we love doing. So I think we're definitely looking forward to that, and the unpacking is going to be pretty awesome. I think can't wait to unpack that. We have no idea where it's going to go because it's never scripted. That's the beauty of the conversation. The energy is just free flowing, and a lot of the men opened up. I mean, today the men opened up a lot of happy gratitude, right? You know, from a new father, a nephew, I think, into the family, if I heard right. So a lot of new babies, you know, being introduced to the family, which is pretty awesome. Put a smile on anyone's face, and yeah, it was a very chilled out session, and it's always nice, right? And I think the word family was used, and I think it's pretty awesome that a random group of strangers have come together that can converse, can help elevate each other, lift each other up, and your consciousness is being elevated. You physically feel good, you're smiling, and then your problem, whatever problem you're going through, is actually shared. And it's just that deep feeling, right? And one of the guys talked about having a great group of friends, and not everyone has a great group of friends, or that go-to person, male or female, where you can just pretty much speak freely in anything you want, whether it's your partner or anyone. And I think everybody needs that one person in life, right? Because everyone's going through something, whether they admit it or not, at one stage or the other. And I think having that one person at least that you can rely on as a sounding board, not to fix you, because no one needs fixing, let's just put it out there, but just someone to sort of support you, I think it's pretty powerful. So yeah, so that's pretty good to share. But listen, we can talk for ages as usual.
I know, right?
And I'm hungry as well. You've eaten.
I mean, I've had a great burger. I'm not gonna. But yeah, guys, I think this is a good note just to wrap things up on as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone in a couple of weeks' time. Obviously, we're going to do a live on the subject as well. So if you have anything that you'd like us to talk about, cover, please do let us know, whether it's with regards to a topic or a future topic that you'd like to bring. We'll keep you posted on some exciting stuff that we're putting together as well. And yeah, again, Manoj, it's always a blast to do this as well. And yeah, looking forward to lockdowns lifting and for us to be able to hang out in person too.
Definitely, buddy. Definitely looking forward to meeting up with you in person. Can't wait. For everyone out there listening, have a super blessed weekend. Massive shout out to Mental Wealth and Riru, our sister group. So if you're a female out there, and you want to elevate your consciousness, and you want to be more mindful about who you are, definitely go check that out. If you're a guy, definitely come check out Mindful Men's Club. We're as regular as you can get. So there's nothing really special about us. So we share everything. And if you haven't already, check out our YouTube channel, because all of the videos are categorized, and they're categorized by topic. So I think Viraj, you can probably after the session or now just drop the link in the Mindful Men's Club page, and just to remind everyone there. If you're not following our content and you want to keep up with what we're doing, because there might be a topic that's close to your home and close to your heart that you want us to talk about, let us know. We've had lots of men reach out to us and saying, hey guys, can you talk about this topic? Don't want to be mentioned by name, which is great, that's fine. But and they've shared something that they've gone through. Last time a guy shared something quite deep, and that was to do with depression. So we thought, let's create a subject called Unpacking Depression. So this is really organic. As I mentioned, as Viraj mentioned, it's not our space, it's your space. So help us help you by sharing what topics you want us to talk about, and we will definitely not hold back, and we'll talk about any subject related to mental health, of course. Brilliant. I think on that note, I will catch you in 2 weeks' time, buddy.
Peace out. See you in 2.
Take care. Bye.
Yep.